Hello, welcome back. Howdy, I'm still here. The set's still here. So I'm going to talk about some soccer today. I'm wearing my Billie Eilish shirt. This is a tour shirt for a tour she never took. So it was cheap on her website. This is a Peter Capaldi signed Doctor Who picture, and this is the Doctor Who cast from when David Tennant was in it, revealing that I was hoping for England. I was hoping for England because as somebody who started watching soccer as a kid, I was drawn to English soccer, and the announcers were great, and I loved listening to the passion. And it's funny because soccer on its own is boring, and that's one of the major complaints about soccer is it's boring. Yeah, on its own it is. You have to have the announcers. If you have a raucous group of fans that are really passionate about it, singing along, whether they're cheering, whether they're booing, whatever they're doing, it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's an entire experience. So it may take a while for people to get into it. When they first watch it, might be like, well, nothing's really happening. They're just passing the ball back. Why don't they go forward? Because they don't want to leave themselves open to a counterattack that's going to end up in the back of their net. But today it was really I wanted to see I wanted to see England win it. I really did. And they don't end up winning it, which is kind of the England way. And as a fan that's watched for a very long time, and I've watched World Cups, and I was really rooting for England in every World Cup they've been in. It is somewhat frustrating as a fan. And I, I've I found myself today thinking, okay, so it would be great if England won, but once we get into the second half of the first half, once we get past that halfway mark of the first half, Italy just it all clicks. England couldn't get to the net, but Italy could. So there's that line there where you want to say, okay, so does that mean that one team played poorly? I don't think so. I think this was more of Italy being the better team, and the right team ends up winning in the end. So we can talk about penalty shots and whether or not that's a good way to settle an international tournament. But I will say that with soccer, you could go forever. You could go for many, many hours and not have a goal scored. So you kind of end up having to go to penalties. I get it in soccer. Other sports, that would be a problem. If you went to a home run derby in baseball, people would get mad. If it was a free throw contest in basketball, same thing. In football, if it was a field goal contest, you guys get what I'm saying. It is something that I think is unique to soccer slash European football. I understand you have shootouts in hockey, but not in the playoffs. Not in the play that's that dividing line where you can't have them in the playoffs. You have to have a goal on the ice settle it in the playoffs. But Italy was so in control of this game, and they had the ball for combined the last number I saw was like 71-72% ball control for Italy, and that would include the first half hour of the game where England was playing pretty well. So you've got to think that the actual numbers are higher in favor of Italy overall at that stage of the game. If you take those other minutes out, that's not how sports works. But hey, we can do that, right? I would say that I was curious about the decision to put a 19-year-old on the field as the player trying to keep you alive in Euro. You've got a pretty darn full looking Wembley Stadium. Lot of loud fans. You've got the weight of all of England's hopes on your back. It seems like a lot for a 19-year-old kid. I'm surprised they put him out there in that situation. But there were a lot of penalties in that second half, and in the overtime, the Italians were racking up yellow cards like crazy. They were definitely the more aggressive team. They were also the better team. And yeah, when England got the ball, it felt like Italy was going to make them pay for it. Which again, you can have that discussion about whether or not that's the way that the game should be played or not. But for Italy today, it gets them the win. So the victory ends up being theirs. I would say that again, right team wins it. It goes to that dreaded shootout. And honestly, as soon as it hit overtime, I thought, okay, so this is Italy's going to win this. I did not see. I know Sterling had that really good opportunity in the second half of the overtime, but I just didn't see it. I just didn't see England winning it. And even though England, I thought played better, especially in that second half of the overtime, it still in the back of my mind, I was like, Italy's going to win this, aren't they? This is going to be Italy winning Euro for the first time in a long time for them as well. So it was interesting that it's two of the bigger countries in the soccer world, and they both gone through a long drought. So in England's case, they've never won Euro, no, 1968, right? 1968 was the last time they won it. Um, I do believe, or was that they had the World Cup in '66? Let's just say England hasn't won anything in a long time. And it's their sport, right? It is identified as their sport. It's you think of England, you think of football slash soccer, right? And yeah, I feel for them. I do. It would be sort of like if Canada couldn't win Olympic gold and had gone decades without it, and then they just can't get it, right? Or world championships or anything like that, where Canada should probably be one of the better teams, and they can't quite get over the hump. I do hope that England uses this experience to boost themselves up going into the World Cup, and that they're able to play a really good game at the World Cup. I'm also hoping that when the World Cup happens, the next World Cup happens, I'll be able to review it the same way I did the last one. On this channel, I've talked soccer before. Also, while I've got people's attention here, I will be doing Olympic videos when the Olympics hit later this month. That's the plan. So it's a rough loss for England. I do feel for them, and it's sort of like right now Canada going through all the CONCACAF stuff, and Canada at the soccer level hasn't done anything of note in many decades, and it feels like now that may change. But in the back of my mind, I'm still waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, oh, that's great. They beat those countries they're supposed to beat. But this is where it's going to get rough. It's sort of like when they go through tournaments and then they run into Mexico or they run into the U.S. I'm like, okay, so that's where the loss is going to happen. And so I really hope that England's able to build off of this. And for Italy, they were the better team. They had the better control of the ball. Again, they were very aggressive. Dirty in some situations, probably, yeah, but they didn't get the dreaded red card. There was a lot of trying to get penalties that took place, and yet I also noticed there were players who were felled by a challenge and jump right back up, and they might have been limping, they might have been hurting, but they jump right back up, and it's something that soccer is known for, and I know that does put some people off of watching it. That they see something and like, oh, come on. And it's funny because I know in hockey we see that too, right? The embellishment. And the one thing with embellishment. So if you're like, well, there should be more penalties for unsportsmanlike in soccer for guys falling down like that. You end up in a situation where a referee may decide that guy falls down too easily. I got that feeling during this game. There were certain players that were getting knocked down a lot, and I thought, okay, they're not getting the calls the other guys are. I wonder if the referee is suspicious that guy goes down a little bit too easy. And so it was one of those things that I kept track of watching this game, where I was like, okay, that may have been a call, but it's the same guy that went down again. So yeah, it's fun watching it. It's kind of a shame I wasn't able to watch as much of Euro as I would have, but Stanley Cup playoffs were on. The main channel has over 200,000 subscribers. This one almost 17,000 subscribers. So it's not really in the same realm. It used to be this channel was about 10% when it came to the subscriber numbers, and over the summer I will be doing more content here, which will likely drive the subscriber count up, but I don't anticipate this channel necessarily getting to the 10% mark again. I because as this channel gains subscribers, it still has to keep up with the other channel, and it's not likely going to do that. But hey, how did you feel about the Euro final today between England and Italy? I thought it was a very good game. Again, I thought the right team ends up winning in the end. It's heartbreaking to see a ball hit the post. It is heartbreaking to see a 19-year-old kid put in the position where it's like, hey, so the entire empire is watching you right now. No pressure. None. Go out there and see if you can score one. But I think much like you have to in hockey, I think they submit the lineup for who's taking the penalty shots before they start the penalties. I can't see a coach saying we're going to put the 19-year-old kid in that position, but at the same time, even if it's before the penalties start, I think I would rather put a 19-year-old in a position to be the first one taking the shot, but not the last one, because again, it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid. It's a ton, and as good a player as he is, it's just it feels like that should be a veteran taking that shot. Again, using a hockey analogy, it reminds me of Gretzky not taking a shootout opportunity at the Olympics, which seemed crazy because it was. And you can point to, well, Gretzky on shootouts wouldn't have been that great. It's 99. He's a star player, and again, um, this may be a situation where a coach is playing numbers rather than, you know, with his heart, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's just I love this kid. I think he could be great. We're going to give him a chance to be a hero on a national level. But let me know your thoughts regarding that too in the comment section below. It was a fun game. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you browse your way through. You just happened upon this video. Apologies that there are no cats on the cat tree. They're enjoying the cat trees in the other room. And yeah, I think that's what it is. I think Shadow likes the brand new cat tree. He's normally the one that's in here with me when I do videos. And I think he's perfectly fine with being in there right now while I'm in here talking about this. But again, let me know your thoughts. Do not forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.